All right, let's talk Shinedown. You know them, you've heard them on the radio for years. They're one of modern rock's most dominant bands, no question. We're talking raw power, super personal lyrics, and over 10 million albums sold. So, the big question is, how did they do it? What's their secret? Okay, I'm gonna start with just a number. 21. That's it. In the world of rock music, what do you think that number means? Well, that number? It's the record for the most #1 singles on the Billboard Mainstream Rock chart. And yeah, that record is held by Shinedown. That right there pretty much makes them titans of the genre. But here's the thing that gets me. Their path to the top was anything but easy. It was a real roller coaster. So, let's dive in. How did this band from Jacksonville, Florida, manage to not just break through, but become the undisputed kings of the rock chart? Okay, to get the full picture, we've got to rewind all the way to the beginning, because their story doesn't even start with a band, really. It starts with one guy getting a crucial second chance. So check this out. It all starts back in 2000. Frontman Brent Smith's first band, Dreve, they get dropped by their label. Ouch. But Atlantic Records saw something special in him and decided to keep him on with what's called a development deal. The catch? He had to build a whole new band from the ground up. So that's what he did. He heads to Jacksonville in 2001, finds the original lineup, and boom, by 2003, their debut album Leave a Whisper hits the shelves. And right out of the gate, that first album had a song that was just raw power. It was called 45, and it definitely got them noticed. But it was also widely misunderstood. I mean, the title alone sparked so much controversy that MTV actually banned the music video. Crazy, right? But here's the thing. Brent Smith has had to explain this a million times over the years. The song was never literally about a gun. Not at all, even with all that intense imagery in the lyrics. See, the 45 was a metaphor for the entire world. Staring down the barrel of a 45 was really about staring down the planet. You know, it's this powerful coming-of-age story about picking yourself up and finding your way when it feels like everything is stacked against you. So you'd think, okay, platinum debut album, they're on their way. But nope. The pressure of the music industry and some really intense personal struggles brought the band right to the edge of completely falling apart. I mean, before they could even think about a third album, the band was just pure chaos. You had internal fights, huge arguments about where their music should go, and on top of all that, serious substance abuse problems. It all just ground to a halt. Smith knew something had to give. He had to make some huge changes, which meant firing 2 of the original guys and really facing his own demons. And this really shows you the split, right? On one side, you have the original lineup that had so much promise. On the other, all these internal crises just tearing them apart. The band was, for all intents and purposes, broken. But you know how these stories go. Out of all that chaos, that near total collapse, came their most important moment. This wasn't just going to be a comeback album. No way. This was going to be a full-on rebirth. So, after 18 long months of writing and recording, they finally dropped their third album, The Sound of Madness. And let me tell you, this record was so much more than just music. It was a defiant statement, proof that they were survivors, and that they were not giving up. And Brent Smith said it himself. He was like, if you had to pick one song that is Shinedown, it would be Sound of Madness. It's all about their core message. Look, you're gonna fail. That's life. But you can't just sit in it. You gotta find that next step. You just do not give up. And this album, wow. It also gave us their biggest single ever, Second Chance. And that song was so personal to Smith. It was literally his story about leaving home, saying goodbye to his parents to chase his dream. And that feeling, it connected with millions of people, way outside of just the rock scene. And just look at the charts here. This is what's so wild. Second Chance wasn't just a rock hit. It went to #1 on mainstream rock, #1 on alternative, and #1 on the adult pop charts. Plus, it hit the top 10 on the main Billboard Hot 100. That is a massive, massive crossover hit. Yeah, you just couldn't deny the album's success. The Sound of Madness was an absolute juggernaut. It ended up going double platinum here in the US, which pretty much cemented their place in rock history for good. So with a brand new, stable lineup, including guys like Zach Myers on guitar, who actually started as just a touring member before becoming official, and this incredible career-defining album under their belts, Shinedown finally cracked the code. They found the formula that would let them just dominate the rock charts for years. So, what's their secret sauce? Well, their legacy is really built on a few key things. You've got Brent Smith's voice, which is just iconic. You've got that solid band chemistry where everyone's pulling in the same direction. Then there's the relentless touring. I mean, these guys are always on the road building one of the most loyal fan bases out there. And finally, it's the songs themselves, these anthems about perseverance that feel so personal, but everyone can relate to them. Which brings us right back to where we started this whole thing. That number, 21, it just shows you their sheer dominance. It's not just that they've been successful. Look at this. They've topped that chart more than any of their peers. It's not even close. So you gotta wonder, in a music world that's always changing, what's the secret ingredient? What lets a rock bands hang on and stay on top for so long? Well, if you look at Shinedown's story, it seems like it's a potent mix of raw talent, a resilience that was earned the hard way, and, being willing to find your own second chance, even in the Sound of Madness.